confident.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Booyah! As we come in on the heavy metal of Metallica, that means it is Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Time for another installment of Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corp.com studios in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Bill Miller. I'm co-host. And in studio we have
Jeff Belknap,
as well as
Brett Price.
And on the line, we have the prognosticator himself from Cleveland and from his penthouse off of Lake Erie, George Jorge Mitch.
Do you have a second floor penthouse?
in a two-story building.
Okay.
Georgie, how you doing, buddy?
Real good, real good.
All right, and folks, this show is dedicated to the first week coming up of college football. We had the first salvo last Saturday,
Yep.
and which we'll get to. Actually, my pick came through, but more on that later on. But we're going to be talking about the huge upcoming weekend for college football, and we'll also, time permitting, get a chance to talk about some of the matchups for the NFL Week 1. I mean, with the cuts just starting to come through, some teams may obviously, well, if you're a Dallas fan, your pick is going to be at best iffy. And we'll get to those as well. But anyway, guys, welcome again. Appreciate it. Brett, as always, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule over at Finley Prep to come on in. And we always have a good time, of course, with George on the line. And Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man.
All right,
Good
man.
day.
So before we get started, if anybody had a chance, the first big game, of course, this was from Australia.
Yep.
Cal and Hawaii last week. And, last Monday, I think that people were really expecting Cal to do a number on him. Anybody gives me 21 points, I'm going to go ahead and take it.
Right.
Didn't pull the trigger on it, so it was an easy bet for me to make
Yep.
at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
But
What did I have it at?
I think 19.5, didn't you, George?
So I won also.
Yep.
As it turns out, Hawaii managed to sneak in there, and they only lost by
So
20.
did California if you were astute.
Well, I actually had 20, so
I understand.
The push.
So you had a push on that one.
Push.
that's the advantage of betting early, because you can actually get those 19.5 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay.
So, the George got it a little bit early, got the 19.5. Of course, if you like the over, it got steamed.
Yeah.
Which actually have scared me off of it,
Me
because
too.
I'm
Scared me off of it as well.
I'm a firm believer that Vegas doesn't lose all the time. So, but Bill, I want to tell you, you did get the W, but did you watch the game?
No.
Okay, so I guarantee that you would have been biting.
It
at
would
the
have been a
bit
nail biter.
because Cal kicked, I think, a 20, a 22, and a 23-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Which basically means that they were inside the 10-yard line.
They were like 20, low 30s.
They wasted 12 points, in other words.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Wow.
I mean, it basically, it could have easily been a 30 to 35-point win.
Yeah.
But
Isn't gambling all luck?
that is
I mean,
that
most
is
of
luck.
Pretty much.
But, like, if you're watching it, you're like, come on, punch it in,
Of course.
And then they don't punch it in. Then the next drive, you're like, come on, punch it in, And then, but it, a lot of it's like that early season.
Yeah.
And it's not only the players that are having things going on, but the coaches.
Yep.
They're like, hey, let's try this. Let's try this. And,
Right.
Just watching the game, I think that Cal was like, I hate to say they were playing with them a little bit, but that last touchdown was really a garbage touchdown that actually got the cover.
If you really look at it, it should have been worse. I mean, Hawaii had 5 turnovers.
Yeah.
And stayed within 20.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you could look at it positive in Hawaii as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that aspect.
Yeah.
So that's why you bet the
So-
games,
I've
right,
turned
George?
over.
Now, Billy.
Oh, my goodness.
That's good stuff. But so just watching the game was a little bit frustrating. But when you don't lose, you can't get too upset. So
Exactly.
It's kind of watching Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl in the last play of the game. I won't go back into that, but that one was really a few F-bombs that were used.
Right. Well, speaking of Marshawn Lynch, he did practice with Cal
Yeah.
in
He's over
Sydney.
there.
Did he really?
Yeah, he
he's
did.
over there. He put the pads on. He's running.
My man.
Doing some running
Still
down.
have
Okay.
eligibility?
I think he's got a year left.
Yeah.
well, you know who is headed for Cal and whose first game this year over at Bishop Gorman?
Yep.
Muhammad Ali's grandson.
Yep.
And
Had
he
a
had
great
a
game, 3
had a
touchdowns.
monster of a
Great
game.
game.
19 carries. I think it was like almost 200 yards.
Yep.
3
Yep.
touchdowns.
Yeah, they looked really good.
Yeah.
And not
he's
saying
committed
that,
to Cal.
Yeah, not saying that Texas is dirty, but did you see some of the plays?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He got a little chippy.
Yeah.
And
So
it was all Cedar Hill too.
Cedar Hill on several occasions. I think they had 5 flags, roughing flags. One hit out of bounds, very evident. One punch to the head when the guy's on the ground. Quarterback was on the ground.
Jeez.
Another play long after the whistle, a Cedar Hill guy came in and leveled the
On a punt, on
quarterback.
that punt.
On
He hit the Haskins kid who's
Yeah.
going to Ohio State. There's a punt, kind of dead. Was no return going on, and it was about 30 yards back down the field towards the line of scrimmage, and he comes and cheap shots the kid.
Was this when the score had pretty much been out of
Oh,
reach?
yeah.
Oh, it was 44-14
Yeah,
at that point.
it was-
Yeah. So
See him
that
do the OHIO at the end of the game?
Martell did. Oh yeah. He let
Them
him know.
stats, is that the way I'm going to find that? Is that he's more of a running quarterback? Because his passing stats don't really...
He was a little off.
Okay.
The other night, he missed
that
a
at
few
your place?
things. But
No, that was in Texas.
That was in
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that was in Texas. I'm actually going to go to the game and watch him play Friday.
Oh, nice.
Against Cocoa, Florida.
Before
Cocoa
you go
Florida.
into your college stuff there, can I ask you 2 Vegas questions? Because you really want local things.
Sure.
I'm reading just 4 minutes ago that the quarterback situation out there is a dead even thing, and both quarterbacks are going to play for UNLV against, where was it, Jackson State or something?
I did hear that, yeah. That was in the
Boy
press
State
conference
is
today.
Not,
Yeah,
is
was it?
not leading?
Yeah, I would think I kept hearing about what's it Stratton or
Yeah.
Stanton?
Straight.
Stratton
Yeah.
from Nebraska. I kept hearing good things about
Stanton.
him.
That's his name out there, yeah.
Stanton, that's what it is. And I kept hearing good things about him, so I just figured he was clear ahead, and then hear that might have a couple, the dual quarterback type thing.
Yep.
So
Which never
And then
works.
on the other side of the coin is losing your second best receiver, I believe Keys. He's out
Yeah.
for the year.
Yeah, I did say that.
That
that's a
really
big
hurts.
loss. That's a big loss because he would have helped Boyd,
Okay. Thank you for
stay
the
off the double
information.
team.
Yeah, exactly.
Good night.
So let's just go ahead and get into it, guys. The first week college. What is the first game? Is it a Thursday night game or Friday?
A bunch of games
Sunday,
Thursday.
Monday.
Thursday.
There's 5 beautiful nights.
Alrighty, and which game we're going to start with, guys?
George, you go first.
Well, I'm going to go with the best bet, and I'm doing a Bill Miller compliment. I took Charlotte plus 39.5. There's really no reason for me to take this. Charlotte is going to be outmanned by Jackson and his boys, but I think they're going to get him out of there as fast as they can, as soon as they got the victory. And I really like the combo of Olsen and Washington, who's the quarterback running back, transferring in from Miami of Florida and Syracuse. And thanks to Mr. Steele in Cleveland, that they mentioned that Washington, if he would have stayed at Syracuse, would have worn number 44, which is quite legendary. But he didn't tell me why he didn't get it, so I don't know. That's why he's in, Charlotte right now. But I just think they're going to let up in the fourth, and 39.5. I can't give anybody 30 or give up 39.5. And I was trying to find something on Thursday that worked out, and it ended up I had 2 actually, but that's the number one one.
Are you looking for a little like the backdoor cover type thing, George?
Could
where
be,
it's
yeah, very much.
yeah,
It's,
that's
I
I
don't-
can
I'm
see
not
that
proud.
for sure. I can see that. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not
It's
proud at
it's
all.
waiting at the window. It doesn't
Yes.
matter how
Yeah.
you get it, right?
Exactly.
No,
I don't care if I don't care if Romo fumbles the extra point. It doesn't matter to
that's
me.
right.
That's true. That is so true.
I just don't, like I said earlier, I don't think they're going to allow the kid to play that game all the game, and I also think he's still very mistake prone. He looks real good when he's real good, but he looks like crap when he's not. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. He looks
and
like a
so
sophomore.
that's my
You know,
the other one.
my whole feeling on betting the games like that is, I just don't like to bet like teams that are terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that Charlotte's completely terrible, but they're not in my top. What do you have them as ranked? Just out of curiosity, George.
I don't know. I got eight picks, and then probably eight. I don't do that.
No. I was talking about
Your power ranking.
Power ranking.
Your power rankings.
Oh, 100 and 120.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I had to kind of stay away from teams like that. But
Well,
if I was going to bet the game, I definitely would take the points.
I would have to take
I
the points as well.
I can't see me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'd be more on edge if I didn't take the points
Right.
and took Louisville.
Right.
And since we're at it, now I'll get rid of my wind. You still got time before commercial. I got a double dipper for you, and it's going to be the most boring game of the week, possibly, is South Carolina and Vanderbilt.
right.
The under 42.5 has got to be, and I don't like over and unders 8 all, but this one just sticks out. I don't think they'll score 30 combined.
Neither team.
And I
is very
also
good.
like the money line bet on South Carolina because I think they may have a little oomph to them this year. It doesn't show on paper with a freshman quarterback, but Vanderbilt's just the same team. Great defense, offense. It's pretty much just drab.
Yep.
So those
I
are the-
can't argue with you at all on either one of those, really. I mean, especially the under. It's like going to be watching paint dry. Look at watching those two teams go at it. And
Now, in 2 weeks, when we rejoin each other, and it's 42-39, the final
Yeah.
score was. Who's the first one that's going to mention it?
exactly.
Because I'm not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
I don't see
The rest
that.
the rest of them, those days. I mean, they can take it or leave it. I don't like any of the games, but I'm sure some. I like Oregon State a little bit with
Yep.
13 plus over Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pointing that one out to Brett before the show.
That one's really went up. It came out at Minnesota -7, and it's got up to 13.
Yeah.
So, if you look at it a certain way, a lot of people, I don't know if that's public money or whatever. It probably
Sure.
is. So you got to kind of look at.
It's probably one of the touts that is
Yeah,
they put out his pick already.
kind of look at Oregon
they run it
State
with
on
it.
that. I think.
And also ESPN, who actually downgraded the most overrated quarterback, Merritt Lidner, whatever his name, Liedner. They have him now down to the 6th quarterback in the nation instead of 2nd, going, right next to God in first pick. So they did drop that down. The other side of it that I like is because Garrettson comes over from Utah State as a grad, and he was a good player. He just was stuck behind Chucky Keaton for like
Yep,
7 years.
Exactly.
And I love Anderson as a coach, and I think his people are coming in, and I don't know this guy from Adam, the one that took over for Coach Kill, but he seems to think this is going to be their best team in a long time.
I know, just watching ESPN and stuff. Herb Street's really, really high on Minnesota. I personally, I'm not, but he predicted them to be in the Big Ten championship game.
Well, that's
Wow.
So
That
I love
is
take it or
Ohio
leave
State.
it if you
I still
want,
don't know
but
why he went there.
that's considerably bullish.
yeah,
As
Well, I
you
mean,
say.
they are on the weaker side of the division, so I mean, he's basically saying that they're going to be better than Iowa.
yeah,
Nebraska,
he's basically gonna be better in Iowa, Nebraska, and Wisconsin,
Right.
pretty much.
Now, on the other side of it, if you want to talk Minnesota, then the last 2 times Oregon State's played a Big Ten team, they've lost by 35 and 28
Yeah.
on the road.
Right, that was
So-
Michigan last
Michigan, yeah, got him bad. I won that game.
year. Yeah. You actually bet Michigan?
Well, it's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. The
So-
Money
the
doesn't
ultimate
have-
equalizer.
Yeah, money doesn't have loyalty.
Not
That's
bitcoins
just
here.
But you got a commercial,
So,
I think.
but
All right.
Any other picks you like in that group?
I kind of like the over in the Western Kentucky Rice game a little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Looking at that, Rice 109th last year in total defense, scoring defense, and I think they returned maybe 5. And
Did
playing.
you guys actually see that there was actually a rumor, and that's just whoever started it, was once Moore from Cincinnati became the starting quarterback, that Gunner was rumored to be headed to Western Kentucky, but you have to have 4 or 5 practices to be eligible to play or something like that.
I didn't see
as a
that.
graduate transfer or whatever.
Didn't see it. A lot of graduate transfers going on.
Yeah, trust me, I know that.
There's a
I've
boatload
been-
of them.
Thank God made erasers, because I've gone through about 100 of them in the last month.
Yeah.
Just when you
Crazy.
think.
Well, I'm going to throw one more in there, and it's only because they had their shocker a few years back, and that's Appalachian State of Tennessee.
Yeah, and who was that shocker against, Bill? I know you're going somewhere with
I
this.
just saw that, and I didn't even bring up the name. I just said, they had that shocker. I kept that as benign as
Well, the
possible,
bad thing-
folks.
it's-
It was
Everybody still thinks it's a few years ago. I think that was like
This is like-
2005.
it was not
10
a
years ago.
really.
It was
Yeah.
10 years ago, yeah.
Oh God, yeah, it was not a dig. Seriously,
Just in
but
case you missed it.
Yeah.
No, but
they're still selling
honestly, that
t-shirts.
game was, for a Michigan fan, was just devastating, because they actually kicked a field goal to take the lead, and then they were going down to score again, and the guy picked it off, or maybe it was a fumble, and he picked it up and ran it back for a touchdown. But they still had an opportunity with like almost no time on the clock.
The bullet wound last, could you see in your head?
It's still seeping over here, George.
Okay, all right. Now I
So
understand.
Michigan gets the ball with like 30 seconds or 20 seconds left. They actually drive down
They
the
had a bomb.
field.
They had a long throw.
Yeah,
down
they
to,
get in field goal
Manningham.
range,
They
and
hit
they kick
Manningham.
the field goal to win the game again, and it gets blocked.
and it gets blocked.
And it's
It was-
Appalachian State. As
yeah.
a matter of fact, one of the guys from the Outlaws last year actually played on that team.
Oh wow.
Did he?
Yeah,
Nice.
he showed up at practice one day with the Appalachian State shirt on, and I did not give him his uniform. I threw it on the ground and told him to pick it up
More weird
himself.
than, Michigan State last year.
Yeah.
The wounds are still clearly a tad
Take a picture
sensitive.
and send it to me, would you please?
Yeah, but I
So
just
what are you going to take? You're taking Appalachian then, Billy?
no, I just wanted to ask you because I was the last on the points on that one.
20
and a half.
20 and a half.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
half at this moment.
That's
Yeah,
dropped.
I would take the
It's
points
dropped.
on that.
I think it was sitting at 23, 24 through the
It
summer
started,
pretty
yeah.
much. So
Yeah, I would absolutely take the points on that
Yeah,
if I were betting.
it being in Tennessee.
Yeah,
Now, the last 3 years, Billy, they played Clemson, Michigan, and Georgia, and they've lost by 108 points
yeah,
total.
got beat bad.
yeah. So, but I can see this being an opportunity.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes,
If you want to maybe put
I-
$2.
See,
So what do you
personally,
want? So you want money line, Bill? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Personally, I'm looking down the road a little bit here. I'm hoping App State gets kind of
Bill, they
handed
don't
to
take
them.
quarters.
get it handed to them because they got Miami coming in a few weeks to App State.
Yeah, yeah.
in Boone, and I'm looking for that. I'm
Of course,
looking for
with
value
Miami
there.
now
I'm looking for
missing a
that
couple of
value.
players.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, you got a
You guys
couple of
know
rental
what's
agency business issues in Miami. So,
Billy?
yeah.
Do you know what's happening next week with Tennessee? The highest lookout, or they're going to Bristol, where they're going to play on the infield of the racetrack.
Yes, they are.
150,000 people are going to be there.
Yes.
They got to beat Michigan's record somehow.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try to break the
No, they will break it. It's already
No,
sold.
we'll-
no,
yeah.
the largest cocktail party.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there'll be
Tailgate
2 records broken
Before kickoff.
at this game: cocktail party and attendance.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
All right, listen, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we'll once again be into the college picks for the upcoming week. It's a huge major opening week for college football.
40 big ones.
You got it. This is Southern Nevada Sports News coming to you from WWDBTV.com. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Round 2, Southern Nevada Sports News, coming to you from the Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corp.com here in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Bill Miller, co-host, along with,
Jeff Belknap.
And Brett Price.
and hopefully George Mish.
Yes.
There he is.
There he is.
All right, my man. All right.
Sorry, I'm watching on the internet while this is going on. I'm watching Hector Santiago against the Tribe. They're making him look like Fernando Valenzuela. It's 0-0 in the 8th inning, and we got Andrew Miller in his 2nd inning already as our former closer. Now
We're not playing very well right now.
They're still 4.5 ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The Tigers are dropping one right
Kansas
But here
City
comes
is
Kansas
coming,
City
baby.
on
They're
the
coming.
hot streak.
They're
now. Coming, baby.
finally getting hot.
And since we're all in the same division here, we got the Tigers, the Tribe, and then the Royals. And I can tell you right now, Detroit's not winning.
Okay.
So you
I'm
guys
more
don't
scared
don't
of
worry
Kansas
about that.
City than
Okay.
I am of Detroit.
And honestly, Kansas City's got a better chance. Detroit cannot win the big games. You know, they got to be able to beat Texas. They got to be able to beat teams like that.
Well,
And
we
they're
were
not.
like,
But they could be spoilers.
11-1 against them this year, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but we
Tigers.
beat you 12-2 in that one. So
Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
just check yourself over there.
Point spread, the run line.
Oh yeah, the run line.
It's an aggregate,
we had the- we
like
had the-
soccer.
Oh, yeah. I'm talking to a degenerate.
Hey, you know what? I purposely stayed away from every one of those games because I couldn't believe. Normally, I would get on against a trend, but
All right.
I didn't do that. So
Can't do it, huh?
Friday.
Friday. Where are we going to start, Georgie?
I'm going with my fetish pick. These guys I'm with them the whole year. 1 month ago, me and Billy were on the phone, and I said, Army has a good chance of beating Navy this year. This has nothing to do with that because they're playing Temple now. He laughed at me, and I said, you watch. Because Army's 4 out of the last 5 years has been within 6 points or less. All right? So Armand Bradshaw, Armand, whatever his name is, he just quit the Army and went home because he just didn't feel like being there. And then 5 days later, he changed his mind. Now he's back, and now it's a best bet over Temple, plus 16.
Wow.
I'm the only one in America that has this. They feel Temple's going to win this game by 200 points.
I know that. Army's, if you're a trend kind of guy, Army's really, really good on the road.
Yeah.
At covering the ATS. So I kind of got to lean towards Army as well in this game with George. So
And this is their. I mean, I do every team 2-3 hours, and I think this is their best team that they've had.
And I'm not sure who Temple has maybe next week. They could easily be overlooking Army.
Could be,
So.
because they're actually Steele. I remember this, just surprising. I remember, but they predict that maybe they're going to go 8-0 to start it. So yeah, they may be already looking down the road. Maybe.
well, if they're overlooking Army to play Stony Brook next week,
Is that who they got?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely not overlooking them.
that to go to Penn State.
So yeah, they got Penn State probably coming.
When I lived
They do
back
Penn
east,
State the week
I
after.
swear I thought
Or it
Stony
could
Brook
be
was a
Charlotte week 4.
JC.
Oh.
When I lived back east and in New Jersey, and I would hear Stony Brook, I thought, oh, yeah, maybe this must be this JC out on Long Island, that they used to talk about. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress.
You don't want to meet him in the NCAA basketball.
That's true.
With 30 points, buddy.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, they always go deep in the tournament, that's for sure.
That's all I got for that one. I mean, I'm going to pick that every week. So just put it on the board. And if they have a bye, I'm going to take them anyway.
All right. Who's next up for the Friday?
Friday, Jeff and you and I were talking about this game a little bit.
Yep.
Toledo, Arkansas State game.
Yep.
Let's see which one you have. 'Cause
We
that's
both
the best one for me.
we both kind of like the over in that game.
I love the over.
Love the over in that game. Not much defense. Pretty good offenses on both
Yep.
sides. And the other thing, leaning towards Toledo a little bit if you're looking at the line, the spread.
Well, when it comes to spreads like that, sometimes I'll probably put something on the money line on that, because 3 points, 2 points in
Yeah.
that in a football game doesn't entice me
Right.
too much. So I think Toledo wins that game.
Can you actually refresh my memory, because I haven't been there in 5 years? Can you get a money line at +1 or +2, or that's just basketball that they won't let you?
+2 you can.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get like a
okay.
+120 or
Okay.
+115 or something like
Yeah.
that, but usually not a 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a one or anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best bet for me. Is you probably +3 Toledo and a money line. I think that wrong favorite is there. Toledo purposely redshirted Woodside to let Ely play last year, so they both didn't cut their, And Woodside, if you look up his stats from 2 years ago, he's the quarterback, by the way, is very good, and they have one of the most underrated running backs in the country in Hunt.
Yes,
Very
very good.
And although Steele busted a little bit of whatever, saying, well, he's a rookie coach, but he comes from a little school in Ohio. There's a tree there that's called Mount Union, and there's a lot of people that don't know them, but that's even though they're Division 3, I believe, or whatever.
Division 3.
That's not a bad tree to be on.
No, that's a great tree to be on.
That's one of the top programs to do. Division 3 playoff team every single year.
Whitewater, Wisconsin.
And if you believe in other stuff, the last 2 times Toledo played Arkansas State, they won by 19 and 30 straight
They
up,
played last year, and Toledo took it to them up in
I believe there was an injury, though, with one of those that Arkansas had an injury, but
I think Toledo just owned the whole state of Arkansas last year. They got Arkansas State, and they got Arkansas.
Exactly. So those are my 2 on Friday. There's plenty of other nice games.
Just another one. Yeah, what do you guys think about K-State Stanford?
That's the marquee game on Friday night.
Honestly, I like Stanford a lot this year. I will not be able to pull the trigger on that game.
It's hard if you really start dissecting a little bit, and it comes back to, I don't want to go against Bill Snyder.
Yep.
With all that time, really. But Stanford is definitely the better talent. Playing at home, 15's a kind of odd number.
Yep.
So
you're going to tease it, is what you're saying?
I don't know. I have a lean, but I'm not, committing to Stanford right now. So.
Well, I guess it's 14.5 right here now, but I'll be staying away from that game.
Yeah, I'm probably going to stay away from that.
He may prove me wrong, but I think Snyder is time to pass it on to his son, who's an assistant for him for like 30 years, and he's probably ready to retire too. But I think there's the recruiting and stuff are starting to fade there.
Yeah.
And I'd hate to see him go out bad because he brought that program back from the grave.
Oh yeah.
He did.
And
twice.
That's pretty damn good.
Twice. So.
Twice, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just going back to Thursday real quick. What do you guys think of the Tulane Wake Forest game? I know it's probably not on a lot of radars, but I kind of like Tulane getting, 17 points against Wake Forest at Wake. Wake's not a juggernaut for an ACC team.
And it's first game of the year.
Tulane's kind of a little on the upswing, and they got a really good offensive line, which a lot of experience coming back on the offensive line. I think they can control the ball a little bit and stay within that 17. So that's one of them I'm looking at on Thursday too. I forgot to mention
the only problem I have with that, Ed, is I have it written down here. I said, can Wake Forest score even 20 points a game? My gut and heart says go with Tulane, but the only thing I don't like is that this is the new Georgia Southern coach who is, if he gets his system in 2 years from now, watch it.
Yeah.
This quarterback's had like 1 game played and 1 snap.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not. If they were going against somebody else other than Wake Forest, I'd probably be kind of a little scared. I like the 17.
I think 17's a lot, but not enough for me to invest in.
If you're going to sneak up on a team, it's week 1.
Yeah.
Unlike the NFL where you have enough preseason games, and week 1 is when you can really sneak in on somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of like Appalachian State.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I wish I hadn't brought that up. But and just looking, and just one more comment on Stanford and K-State. Stanford going in at preseason number 8.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty lofty for them.
I think so.
This may be one where if they really don't lay the lumber on these guys, you could see them drop significantly. And probably where they should be.
Yeah.
All right. So Saturday, here we are, guys.
Got an early one. We got a really early game on Saturday if you're West Coast here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, the
Who would
Boston.
have done this game at Fanville, Billy?
No.
4:30 in the morning.
Russ.
I was thinking more of somewhere that his bus broke down every day. We won't get into names because of being sued. But
Okay.
you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
what is that? 4:30 a.m. start.
4:30 a.m. your time.
Our
yes.
time. As Georgia Tech and Boston College.
Yes.
And you guys kind of know that I kind of like Boston College this year, and they're getting 3 points
Yes, you
over
do.
there, and I'm going to take the 3 points and probably wake up and see if I won. So
Oh, you're not going to get up and watch it? Is that even on TV? It's 7:30 in the morning. Isn't it?
Absolutely, it's on ESPN2.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
have a better option. I just wrote no clue, and I don't have to worry about it.
Well, you can definitely look at the under in this game as well. I think the under is another good look at here. So
Yeah, but Georgia Tech, I think they had a terribly down year last year, so I mean they're going to score again. But BC don't score either. You're right, they don't score.
yeah,
And if their defense aren't as good as last year, we argued about this a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
with
we did.
Syracuse, but
Yeah.
okay, we'll see.
yeah. So
Well, Saturday, needless to say, is chock full of games, and there's some absolute monsters. So what's the next game, guys?
Well, the next one up would be Michigan,
Hey,
who never covers that early game. I've been watching
41
Michigan.
point favorite.
41.5.
I've been watching Michigan my whole life. Season ticket holder as a kid.
Excuse me.
They just don't cover those spreads. I would never lay that. No matter hardball, I don't
Yeah.
care who. If we brought back players, I wouldn't lay that. If Brady was playing, I wouldn't lay
And
40
Hawaii
points.
actually showed some punch.
Yeah, they showed that they could
impressed
move
me
the
a little
ball.
bit. Yeah, they looked way better than they did from last year. That's for sure.
I mean,
coach
on paper, Michigan has a better than Cal, so I don't know if they're going to be able to move the ball the same way.
No,
but I'm
but-
certainly not touching that game.
No, I'm staying away from that as well.
well, one thing's for sure, you can't afford 5 turnovers
No, not
against
there.
Michigan.
Those are all touchdowns.
Yeah.
against
I mean,
Michigan.
if you really look at anything, if you wanted to bet anything in that game,
That'd be the over.
you kind of got to figure that Michigan's going to score
I
35
would look
points,
at the over. At
least.
35. They
maybe,
give up
maybe even
51
40 points. Yeah,
They give up 51 to Cal.
yeah,
And how do you think measures the Michigan and Cal?
yeah.
Let's skip the Michigan game, okay? I know it's your show, but you went right past the game that I'm.
No, I'm
I
going
will
in the
actually
order
watch,
of
and I don't watch.
the what I have.
Oklahoma at Houston.
Well, how did I go past that? Game's in the afternoon. Oh, it is a 9 a.m.
Not if you go on the. I'm going on this Don Best thing that they.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
They don't get the times right now. That great.
Oh no, they're all 9. All those are 9 a.m. games.
Yep.
I love that Oklahoma game. I
you
think that's
love
going to
about
be. I think it's going to be a great game.
Oh, game.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Yes,
Without
that's
a doubt.
good game.
I think
For a
Houston
half.
is a good team at home. I think they're going to
They're
play
not
better.
really home though.
It's a neutral site.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're going to play better than
How
people
can it
are
be a
anticipating.
neutral site if it's in Houston?
It's not on
It's
campus.
It's not their regular home campus.
There's got to be a couple points in there. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're all right.
So since you brought it up, what do you think, George?
I took. I didn't know best bet. I just took Oklahoma -10. I got them. I actually redid my stuff, and as of now, they're going in as the number one country team. That's good. Number one.
Number
team
one
in the
country
country.
team.
They are in the
That's.
country.
I jacked them up because I just with Mayfield, Perrine, and Mixon, and then their receiving is a little bit down because Shepard's gone, but. They're still good until they have to play a bowl game, and then Stoops will.
Or when Stoops will
I
screw it
know.
up.
I know everyone's
but this is
probably
early.
looking over in this game. I think it's going to be under.
And I do have some interior motive here, or whatever, because
Yeah.
I want them to beat
You want the
Houston,
number to
so
get
in
Ohio
a couple
State.
weeks they're real cocky when we come
I
down.
understand that. I gotcha.
So you're thinking you're wanting them to smash is basically
Yeah,
what you're
smash
saying.
them. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I actually like that theory. I actually do
Yeah.
that a lot too.
And I
Rooting
just
for them.
made
anyway.
that up.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma, basically going to wear them down in the second half. With the two big backs, so, P. Ryan and Mex. I think it's Mexton or something like that. They're just going to run it, keep running at them. They're power 5 against the other 5, type of thing, and that's going to show in the second half. I think with them just pounding the ball with those guys, and that's why I think Oklahoma probably will cover, but I also think it's gonna. I like the under.
Gonna keep going here.
Yeah, that's a lofty play, I think, because I do think that Oklahoma will be able to put up in the 30s, and you know that
And
Houston's going to be throwing the
68.
ball. So
68.
Do you believe they were lucky last year, Houston? Because a lot of people around.
I don't think they're
that I
sneaking
read
up on
the
anybody.
internet.
That's for sure.
No, the people are going to be ready for him.
So.
And the only time they lost was when Ward was out. If I'd but
I can
Connecticut
see like a
or somebody
35-20
beat them
game.
by
That's what I'm
something.
kind of envisioning a little bit.
All right.
That's
I'm
a
glad
good.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
You
What's-
guys keep going because my next bet's not until next week. No, I mean like this
So-
afternoon.
I have this pen that I'm taking my notes on, an Air Oceans Pro pen. This is an awesome pen. Compliments
Of
of Air Ocean Pros.
one of our sponsors.
Wow.
There you
I'll
go.
get you back for it. Don't worry about it.
This thing is awesome. So you don't have any. You honestly don't have anything else.
Mine is,
okay.
My next game is down at number 163, 164, the Kent State Penn State game.
So did you bypassed Boise? You don't see that being a
No,
shellacking?
I actually,
I
I
like
actually
Boise.
just said I'll take ULL plus 19 and a half. No really reason. I looked at all from 3 o'clock this morning until I talked to Bill. I mean, but I just couldn't pull a one on that one.
Yeah.
If you got something, do you have something that's impressive?
I think Boise's going to be, like even you said this a few weeks back, George. They might have a chance to run the table.
Oh yeah,
And
exactly.
I think they'll go down to Louisiana and put it to them. I think the guys from Louisiana, I don't know what kind of practice time they've been getting. A lot of distractions with the floods and
Yeah.
things like that.
A lot
So
going
So
on.
I'm looking at
Okay,
an angle
I
like
don't-
that a little bit. So I think they haven't really been thinking maybe too much about the game, and
Yeah.
Boise's been focused in on it. And Boise, they're a juggernaut. I think they might cover the over by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shout out
I
to
remember you saying that once at a basketball game. Okay. See,
Shout out
if
to,
I had to pick between the other two that we haven't talked about, forget Ohio State, but I like Western Michigan a little bit, plus 6
against Northwestern.
Western.
Offense against defense.
Yeah, I think that game's down to 5 now. Last time
It's
I saw.
down 5.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. well,
So I want to give a shout out to Milshawn, John. He's a friend of mine. His son plays for Boise, graduate of Faith Lutheran. So we'll see how he does.
All right,
He's a
well-
big lad.
Big
down
lad.
there. Yeah.
So do you play offense, defense?
Plays defense.
Defense.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And we'll be rooting for him, and he makes a statement. So George, no opinion
Yes, I
on
am.
Georgia and North Carolina?
Georgia, North Carolina. Now you got to get me on another page here, don't you?
That's in the afternoon, and
Oh, is that a tough one? No, that really is. That's my boy from Mentor, Ohio.
Yep.
And I actually had North Carolina pulling at plus 2.5 in a money line, and it shouldn't really make a difference. But they just announced that Chubb has no restrictions as far as carries goes, and his partner is going to play. So it's going to be a great game to watch.
oh yeah,
Will the number one quarterback at high school, I forgot his name, whatever it is,
Eason.
he's playing. Well, what will he be like? Trubisky from Mentor, Ohio I've already liked him. I told you
Mhm. He's got a great
the
running
team-
game too, North Carolina.
yeah.
that.
With
It'll come down to Georgia has a very good pass defense. North Carolina has a good passing team. Georgia has a great running attack, and North Carolina is pretty good at defensive line. Whoever wins those two battles, I think, will win.
What do you got on this stuff?
I like North Carolina because they wear blue. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, we were talking about it off air. One of the ladies used to pick for their colors, but I'm just interested in watching that game more than
Yeah, me
anything, more
too.
than betting on it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good game. It should be a good back and forth battle. Good offenses, good defenses, good running game. I'm just looking forward to watching it. To be honest with you,
You don't have to bet every game.
No.
You know what? And I don't. A lot of times, a game like that, I might do an in-game, which is the reason why I like the apps.
Yeah.
Which hopefully we'll have an
Plug
app
the games and
sponsor
stuff.
soon, so we can actually start, plugging apps.
Here, here.
But I love the in-game betting. I mean, that's actually what I'll do actually more, especially in basketball. But even in the football games, I mean, to be able to sit
Well,
on your
I'm not
couch
like
and
you,
watch it.
'cause when I come out there, and you won't know me, but even when I lived there for 5 years, I bet on a game, and I hit the slot machines, and I'd go and see who won. I don't want to watch anything because of what you just told me with the California game
Yeah.
being stopped at the 3-yard line 12 times in a row. No, I mean, if you don't know it, you just say, it happened.
Yeah.
You found
Hey, well, you haven't seen me in a while, but I have a full head of gray hair.
I have gray hair, but it lost to the wind on the top.
Yeah, so I agree with you, George, on some games. There's just sometimes I just like to watch football.
No,
And
you're
yeah, I mean, like a game like, I might not watch a Toledo game, for example.
no.
I'll put my action in and just like look at the final. But I didn't watch the whole game, but I saw I watched some of the first half, and then when I was watching the second half, I'm talking about the Cal game, I actually looked back and was like, how is the score only this? Because I was watching Cal move the ball pretty freely.
Yeah.
So then when I saw the short field goals, I'm like, oh great, and usually it's a bad sign, when you're laying, 3 touchdowns in a game and you can't get in the end zone. I mean, that's a bad sign. But all right, so Brett, you got any other ones? Or?
I mean, I'll go back with George. You want to talk about that Penn State game, George?
I just think Kent State couldn't score on us. That's basically it. They averaged last year 13 a game. They still have a solid defense, but not the greatest defense. Good for the MAC. Penn State loses Hackenberg, and I don't know if that's that bad.
That's not a bad thing, I don't think.
And this is one of these that I have written down here with a question mark, shutout. And I think if Penn State can score 21, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Penn State, just to add a thing for the shutout, there are 3 linebackers. I'm not going to give you their names because I'm not that into this stuff. But all 3 of them will make some post-season All-Star roster, and not just 4th team. So they're back to Penn State U, linebacker U. So if they can score 22 points, Penn State's going to win this game.
I think they will. I think they win this game fairly easy.
Yep.
I love. Well, Barkley's my hidden Heisman guy for them. I think he's going to have a heck of a year. I think he can put up 200 yards easy on Kent State. I think this game's over at half.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And Franklin, despite with the program, two straight 7 and 6s, his butt may be feeling a little torched right now.
Maybe a little bit, but I think
not much. But
yeah,
I'm saying, but you know what?
I like they got a mobile quarterback this year too, instead of the statue that was Hackenberg.
And I don't think Hackenberg's even got off the bench yet, but that's another story.
Yeah, if he did, he'd probably get sacked. So.
You got time for one more? Or you got a commercial?
No. We're going to go right through, Jordan.
Oh, nice.
Right through. Okay. I looked at the guy in the goal sheet. I looked at Phil Steele. I looked at me. I took it as the best bet. I like LSU minus 9.5, and many other people like Wisconsin. I don't like the 5th-year senior quarterback at all. Houston, I believe his name, and I think LSU is friggin' loaded. And although it's in Whiskey, it's not. It's at
Lambeau.
Where's it at?
Lambeau.
Green Bay. I'm sorry.
Yep.
62-8 at Camp Randall, 8-9 at a neutral. Now there's your neutral for you, my friend.
Yeah.
That's a little different. So.
Well, you guys know how I feel about LSU. I definitely, that's one of my favorite teams this year, and definitely going up to Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's mediocre this year. And like you said, the quarterback Houston, fifth year guy. It's not saying too much if you couldn't beat out Joe Stavi
right
in the last few years. So that's not really saying too much about him.
Right.
So I just don't think they'll be able to stop Fournette, and they'll start getting in the box, and then they'll just put it out to those pro receivers, 10-yard dink and dunks, and let them run and be athletes. And I don't think Wisconsin will be able to move the ball either.
Like literally, my only concern of this game is that LSU kind of plays that like where they don't necessarily try to score. They try to control the game, which kind of lets teams kind of hang around sometimes. That's my only concern. But I see this a 28-point win.
Yeah. I don't think it's close.
For white hair. Okay.
That's true.
Yes.
No, it absolutely is true, because when you watch games like that and you're like, man, throw the ball. Throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But LSU is known for that. I mean, honestly, Michigan's known for that. I mean,
Yes.
Michigan does that on a regular basis.
Yes.
So,
But if I interject here now, we got that, but you have to do it for the guy next year because he's at one of his 43 teams that he loves is playing Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And that's
Who might that be?
That's a tight. Not USC. Is it USC? No, it's the other
UCLA.
team.
UCLA.
Yes,
So-
yes.
What do you feel about that, Billy?
Well, UCLA.
Okay.
Simple as that, huh?
Simple as that.
Yep.
I don't care what the spread is. Just pick the Bruins.
I think Josh
Can't go
Rosen
wrong.
might be dusting himself off a lot.
He is the chosen one.
He's going to be really good, but I'm telling you, those defensive ends are really good for Texas A&M.
There's my
They
man.
are.
They're gonna be chasing.
They are.
You heard
day.
today, guys, that Cleveland got rid of their punter. They got rid of Kruger. They got rid of anybody that's over 30 that isn't Joe Thomas, and he should be done next. They want the first pick, and I would take Garrett
He's a stud.
over Watson because
Absolute
I think
stud.
he's a beast as a defensive end.
He's
Yep.
And Hall isn't too bad either.
no, Garrett is an absolute stud.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy one, but Hail Bruins, they will prevail. You heard it here.
Billy.
I'm actually not touching that game.
Uh,
Actually, I do
Hey,
want-
I didn't say I'd bet on it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Guys, when we were in Ellis Island having breakfast one day, he tried to bet the Patriots against UCLA and to take the bet. And UC were going to give UCLA was going to give points to the New England Patriots.
I didn't quite understand the system there at the time.
No. And then they lost to BYU by about 30.
And
So-
I think that was at the half. I mean, he said, you
Remember
didn't.
that day?
Yeah, we were walking out. He said, you didn't notice the score, did you? I'm going like, well, he goes, and I look, I'm going like, oh, God. He goes, well, I told you, I just said that you didn't notice the score.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they were getting manhandled, to say the
Oh, it's
least.
brutal.
Happens
So
sometimes.
we jumped past the game, Ohio State,
did?
Bowling Green.
Oh,
And the reason why I'm going back to it is I don't like the was it
Spread.
20
28
28 point.
7.5, I got it at.
Yeah.
But that was this morning. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the over in that game though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And what that,
I
what's
think the
the,
Bowling Green
63
63
around
63 and a half
63,
somewhere around there.
yeah, I like the over on that, too.
Yeah, I see Bowling Green being able to score points in this game, and I do think in Ohio State the way that they usually handle stuff is they'll be able to move the ball and pretty much score at will. But Bowling Green will put up some
Redshirt
points.
freshmen should be in by the third quarter if it goes the way it should.
That's what I'm looking at, a big lead, and then suddenly you've got third and fourth string guys in there in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter, and then Bowling
The
Green's
other
going to be
thing
able to
look
move the
at-
ball.
I don't know how much Urban wants to put it on his old team.
Yeah,
either.
That's right.
So,
That's his, his
so
alumni.
We'll see. His MO is though he's going to put it on people.
yeah.
So
Well, you know how the game is won,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a numbers game.
Well, I kind of described it to Brett before the show, and this is what I see. I see Bowling Green getting the ball, going and scoring a touchdown. Ohio State responding, scoring immediately, and then a couple more touchdowns and maybe 21-7 at the end of the first quarter.
Okay.
And then, from there, just kind of coast into. I mean,
yeah,
it's
I think the
going to be
game-
halfway
it gets
there
in the
by.
70s. I think it gets in the 70s.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ohio State put up 45, 50
Oh,
points.
I think they get in the 50s.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Hey,
if
who's the coach for Bowling Green now? He was like a high school coach 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
he-
nothing against high school because of Sanchez. But I mean,
Yeah. I
He's,
was going to say.
he's not Dino.
no.
well,
no.
they did what they went to 10-4 or something last year.
Yeah.
With Dino.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
and then he went
Oh,
to Syracuse.
the other with him. Okay.
So,
All right.
They lost their Bowling Green lost a lot. Quarterback,
Quarterback,
quarterback that
running
didn't even
back,
get a look in the NFL that threw for almost 5,000 yards,
yards,
yeah.
yeah.
46 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Didn't even get a sniff in the NFL.
Yeah.
The way
I don't know what
quarterbacks
that
are going
means,
down,
but-
he might.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Stay in
doubt.
condition, young man.
Yep.
He'll get that call.
What are we looking at? The other team, the hated team by Bill Miller over here with the Alabama.
And really,
USC.
I will say this, very much a marquee game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Down-
not necessarily a favorite among bettors,
Yeah.
but definitely a marquee game.
Neutral site game in Dallas, Jerry's World, and Alabama -11 right now, I think.
Yep.
So, I mean, I gotta lean to Alabama. I mean,
You got to.
you have to.
You're gonna give 11 or?
Oh, I would if you're I probably won't bet the game, but if I would do it, I would probably give the 11.
Okay. I'm gonna do. I'm not doing anything, but only because it's game 1. If it was game 7, they have 2 quarterbacks in Alabama, and Saban's not real, or at least he's acting like he's not real happy. But
He's never
that may
happy.
be a ploy. Who knows?
Yes,
He's
I
grumpy all the
it
time.
doesn't strike me as a guy that's been, the Jolly Roger over the last
he's
few
a
years.
grumpy guy all the time.
Well, at one
Got a
point,
bar name for him here.
His hands probably hurt from all the rings on his fingers.
at one point last year, Alabama had more wins in Texas Stadium than Dallas did. So I'm actually going to take Bama, and I think that they win big.
Yeah. What's the over and under on that?
Oh, that is 54.
I don't know about the over.
I would take the under.
I kind
I'll
of
be
see.
honest with you.
I kind of see that game being a little bit like the Michigan State game last year, where
Okay.
Alabama comes out and they just dominate on defense,
Then just
and
start, just push them around a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
just
Control-
score
just
35
control
points
things
and maybe 35-7, 35-14.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yeah,
can
but
see
I
that.
definitely I agree. I see the under on that.
Yeah.
All right. Is there? Do we have another
Running
game?
out of time, but you got two more. I mean, one of them I want to get to only because
Go ahead, George.
I took this. Is Notre Dame? We're going all the way to I think Sunday with
Yep.
Notre Dame at Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and I really, with all the crap that's going on in the two quarterbacks in Notre Dame, the suspensions, the arrests, all this other stuff, I would take Texas plus 3.5 and a money line in a heartbeat.
I think this is Texas' game to win.
Yeah, I mean,
And Strong, you may not agree with Franklin being on the line, but Strong's,
definitely.
you know what's there
Yes,
on the line
it
this year.
is.
He better
Yeah,
bring it up.
His
this is
backside is
make
on
or
the
break
line.
year for
Yeah.
Coach Strong.
Yeah, and they're actually and this is a true home field advantage too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Playing at Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, Texas,
No
tough
doubt.
spot.
They will be full go, 100 mile an hour, down in Austin on Sunday.
Great
I-
place to watch a game
Yeah.
right downtown.
I'm staying away from the spread, but I like the under in the game.
Okay.
Under 60. I just think, Texas freshman quarterback probably going to ease him into things a little bit. Notre Dame's defense is a little above average. I think Texas's defense is very strong, which is going to equal out the Notre Dame offense. Plus, both quarterbacks at Notre Dame both said they do not like what's going on with the two.
No, it's
two
like
quarterbacks.
Ohio State too.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
From
I think
last
there's a
year.
lot of things going on, like you said, George. A lot of distractions and things like that.
Yeah.
I just like the under. In
All
the
right.
game.
We've only got a minute left, and before we go, Georgie, we wanted to discuss real quick the name that looks like that might be coming up for the new hockey team here in Las Vegas.
Not the Black Knights.
No, definitely not the Black Knights. They got it narrowed
Can
down
I
to.
interject just one thing? I
Sure.
think one of the best one Monday, Mississippi plus 4 over Florida State. Take it.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's going to what they say, Golden Knights or something.
Yeah.
Or I read about that.
Golden Knights, Desert Knights, Silver Knights are the three.
Those are the three finalists
Yeah.
Why
and-
wouldn't he want the Black Knights though? I know they're
because of the Black Hawks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I personally like Silver Knights.
I like Silver
I think
Knights
we
as
should
well.
lean towards the Silver Knights.
I
But
really like
today, the reason why I brought this up is because
Okay.
they trademarked Sand Knights today, and which I was blown away by. And I'm leaning towards the Silver Knights. But if you guys haven't seen the uniforms yet, definitely check them out. If you guys
Oh, I
follow
will.
them on Twitter, sinbin.com, which is our friend Dana Lane's
Okay.
site.
All righty. Hey, listen, folks, we're going to thank you very much, guys. Georgie, we really appreciate it. Brett,
Over ready?
we're over ready, buddy.
flying
Brett,
by.
thank you very much for coming
Hey,
in.
You guys have a good Labor Day and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
That
You
leaves
too,
us wide
Georgie.
open.
Join us.
Thanks.
Join us next Monday is Labor Day, so we're going to be on hiatus. It'll be a repeat of one of our more popular shows. But join us in 2 weeks for another installment. Southern Nevada Sports News from Worldwide Digital Broadcasting
Take care, gentlemen.
Corp.com. Take care.
Bye.
God bless.